Hello, my name's Connor Donetto, one of the co-directors of Dots+Loops, Australia's post-genre concert series, and welcome to Joining the Dots, a fun podcast where we chat to all the artists in the Dots+Loops community. Welcome! I'm really excited to be here for Season 2. We're back. We actually recorded this episode as a fun live stream featuring the wonderful Anna Kho as our guest host. It was a fun event. It was the first time that we, the Dots+Loops team, i.e. myself, Kieran Welch and Flora Wong, had ever hosted a live stream event. So, as could be expected, it was plagued by a myriad of technical issues. So apologies in advance. There is some bit of glitchy digital noise throughout the audio of this podcast, but I hope you'll bear with us. It was a very fun chat with Anna. And a huge thank you to Joseph McCormack, who we called very last minute to come and save our bacon. Without him, the live stream and this podcast would not have happened. So a huge thank you to him. So yeah, Season 2. It's been a while. How are you? I hope you and your family are keeping well and are safe and hopefully keeping sane. It's been a difficult couple of years. We're really excited to be back for a second season of podcasts and video tutorials. So if you're not already, please sign up to our newsletter and you'll hear about those episodes as they come out. And subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts and watch videos. We had a really fun episode chatting to Anna. Anna actually interviewed us for this, and really a huge thank you to Anna for guest hosting this episode, where she asked us all about what we've been up to in the last year since the last season of Joining the Dots, and what our plans going forward are, what events we've got coming up, what we're planning for Joining the Dots and Dots+Loops, and in particular about our upcoming festival, Dots+Loops NonStop. Speaking of which, tickets are out. You can get them. Please join us. It's going to be a really fun evening. 6 hours of continuous live music, art installations and galleries that you can look around. It'll be really wonderful to have the Dots+Loops family all together again to celebrate what's so beautiful and wonderful about this community and all the things going on in the Brisbane and Australian arts scenes. So get your tickets. It's only minimum $20, pay what you can afford, and yeah, it should be a really lovely time. Tickets are available now, and the link is in the description of wherever you are listening or watching this podcast. And that if you are just listening to this on what your favorite podcasting platform, you can go and watch this episode. It'll be up on YouTube and our Facebook. So without further ado, welcome to Season 2 of Joining the Dots.
Start?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the season launch of Season 2 of Joining the Dots, a fun podcast where we get to chat and get to know some of the wonderful artists in the Dots+Loops family. My name is Anna Kho, and I have the absolute honour of chatting with the co-directors of Dots+Loops today, which is Australia's post-genre art series, and we welcome you to our podcast, their podcast, Joining the Dots!
Yay!
Firstly, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of lands on which we are gathered, in particular the Turrbal and Yagara people, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. All right, so today we are going to find out more about the people who have been hosting this podcast, what they've been up to, the concerts that have passed, the concerts that will happen, and you're getting the exclusive goss today, and I'm going to find that out for you. Now,
that was the best introduction we've had, I think, to the podcast. That's lovely.
Well, firstly, because it's a Facebook Live event, it is a question-answer platform for our audience. So you can put your questions up, and Joe, our live stream operator, will let us know, and we can answer them as we go. But firstly, Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for being
you for
here,
hosting.
Anna. And if our dear watchers, listeners don't know, Anna Kho is actually a phenomenal musician herself. We've all worked with her since before Dots+Loops. And I would say in some ways she was quite influential to starting Dots+Loops in what she did herself. She's a phenomenal percussionist, an organizer, teacher, runs her own podcast called Musicians Unmuted as well. So check that out, not now, but after the stream.
Yes, check it out
Later tonight,
in your
you
own
can listen.
time. Yeah, it's
I
always
believe there are
available.
episodes of Musicians Unmuted with all three of us individually at some
That's
point.
true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
We've all been on an episode.
You got me at the
Absolutely.
middle of a mental breakdown.
Oh, great. Great. Yeah, I did all want you wanted to podcast,
You
so
got me
I
at the
ended
beginning
up
of
getting
mental
you going.
breakdown, I think, yeah. So that was fun.
Oh, yes, it was maybe a therapy session to just vent out. So
Yeah.
go find those episodes of them. But I really wanted to get dressed in your Dots and
Nice.
Loops theme. So I've got dots and I've got my loops earrings.
yeah,
so
thank
I guess
you.
these are dots.
yes, yeah,
I
yeah.
like some little dots.
Yeah, I went off brand. I'm stripes tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kieran went on brand and wore black, which
I
is
still think
usually
Anna
what we-
wins.
Yeah, I'm committed to the event. But you guys obviously sometimes dress with dots in your concerts, and you have a theme going on. Do you actually own a lot of like dots outfits in your wardrobe?
I would love
I'm
to.
gonna say out of all of us, maybe Kieran has the most prominent dot shirt.
I do
yes,
have
yeah,
some
yeah.
pretty prominent dot shirts when I think about
I
it,
love
actually.
dot
the
shirts.
one with the
The
big
really
dot.
big,
Yeah.
the asymmetric ones,
Yes.
the ones that
Yeah.
are not centered to the shirt.
I think
yeah.
she's gone to shirt heaven, actually.
Oh, that's
I'm a very
sad.
sweaty man. It got stained.
All right.
I mean,
Oh,
you
well.
can just buy
Maybe that's our
more.
quest for 2022 is
Yeah.
find more
Prominent dot shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
there such a thing as a loop shirt though?
Well, that's
You
just a
find-
dot. That's just a dot outline.
Out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know, I
Yeah.
feel like this is just merch that we haven't made yet.
Yeah.
That's true.
This
Yes,
is, this
That's
is,
true.
Yeah.
I will be the first.
I'm also open to a loop being not a circle, you know? Like it could be a twisted loop.
Like this one.
Mo-
It doesn't finish.
Mobius,
Yes, it
Mobius
could
loop.
be a Mobius
Oh,
loop.
yeah.
Could be a multi-dimensional
Yeah.
loop.
I just noticed that if this is recorded as a podcast, no one knows what I'm referring to when I'm touching my clothes.
Oh yes, that's true. Anna is wearing a beautiful dress that's
Yes.
white with green dots and
Yeah.
these amazing loopy earrings.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yes.
spirals. They're like wire spirals.
Yes.
Thank you.
But those of you watching this live obviously can see.
Know what
I
I'm wearing.
assume,
Yes.
Right?
Feel free
hope
to
you can
ask me
see.
where I got it.
He says, looking at camera and gesturing. Yes.
And recently, Restrung concert happened. How did it go?
It went really well. Actually, we were so stoked that Danielle asked us to perform as part of her festival. Restrung
Yes.
is a festival with a focus on stringed instruments that Danielle has been running for many years. She's
That's
taken.
Danielle Bentley.
Yes, Danielle Bentley. She took a little break, and this was the first festival in a little while, and we were delighted to play a set as part of the program. And actually, it was the first time we, as
The three of us, yeah.
co-directors, have performed a set together because, you know,
that's so lovely.
like it's not unusual for us to play at Dots and Loop shows, but usually, you know, as part of a different ensemble, and very rarely, three
So
of
the
us
way
as a
I
set.
saw it, and I don't know if these two would agree with this narrative 100%, but I saw it as taking what we do as Dots and Loops as curators and then putting it, like squishing it back down to us being performer curators and sort of a little example of a fuller show with us three as the
I mean, I don't think I ever ran it by either of you, but in some of the marketing copy, I was referring to that show as Dots and Loops Director's Cut.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
I do
fun.
love
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
that was fun.
Because, yeah.
Oh, and it was a good turnout and everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It was lovely.
Great turnout that year.
That's so good to have live music, though.
We're so
and
lucky.
Especially, you know, Brisbane. Yeah, we are very, very lucky. And to have amazing directors like Danielle and yourselves to hold these amazing events.
Yeah, and venues like Metro Arts.
Yes.
Yeah, the new Metro Arts is so beautiful.
Yeah, talking about venues, we're at Simply Strings. Forgot to mention this
Yeah.
beautiful setup is at Simply Strings. So do come check out this place.
Our dear partners, and thank you for
Letting us
hosting
use
us
the
this
space.
and for all the other things that we get to do with them. Yeah.
And if you're not a string teacher or player, if you're a music teacher, they sell cute music things
Yes.
that you can give to your students.
Anna's a percussionist,
I
but
do.
she still comes in here. You're welcome too.
I buy lots of music pencils and rubbers, and it's near the end of the year, and you got to get those gifts ready. Just letting you know. So,
Gifts for your
Definitely.
teachers. Gift.
Yeah.
Gift. Is that? Are you
to
hinting?
your students.
Oh, you give gift to your. That's very.
Very
It's
generous
the end of
teacher.
the
My
year
violin
haul.
teachers. No offense, Alex, but
Yeah,
my
no.
violin teachers never gave me.
My tutoring is your gift.
I mean, initially I thought of that, but then I thought, you know what? It's the end of the year.
I
Let's
assumed
get
you.
them
I
come back.
assumed you were dropping hints for your students for what you would like
Yeah.
your
No,
No,
students to
do not buy
you.
me rubbers and pencils. Do not buy
What if they bought you like a fancy like metronome or something?
Nah, I don't need that stuff.
Chocolates?
No.
How high
Do
is
they
your
have
table of
chocolates?
chocolates? No, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
students do give
They
teachers
always
chocolates.
give chocolates.
How many boxes of favorites?
Don't give me chocolates. If you are watching, and they don't watch but if you are watching, don't buy me chocolates. Don't buy me soap. I don't understand soap. I don't understand it.
Wait, just in general, or you don't as a gift?
As a gift.
What are you
Okay.
trying to
I
say?
don't understand. Exactly. And the other thing is candles. I don't understand candles.
Oh, Anna gives me the candles
Yeah,
though.
I do.
So please
Yeah.
do buy Anna candles, because
Yeah.
then I get fancy candles.
If you're a past student, I have given my candle to Kieran.
I have been thrilled.
I mean, I'm a standard
were
teacher.
very
I would
nice
like a bottle
candles.
of wine, thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But stuff to buy for your students or, I don't know, for your teachers.
Yes.
Anyway,
here.
we digress.
Come here. Anyway, what we really want
yeah,
to find
selling
out
our
today,
partners.
what we really want to find out today is the Non-Stop concert. It's coming back. It's coming back in December, and there's a huge lineup of information's already out there. There's an event already happening. Go find it. But while you're finding it, let's hear what's happening at the concert.
So I'm firstly so thrilled. If you don't know what NonStop is, we had our first one back in 2019 in a different time. So it's 6 hours of music across 2 stages non-stop. So while one stage is happening, the other one's getting reset. And the 2019 festival was sort of the second show that Connor properly worked with us at, because I worked myself into hospital and he had to.
And Kieran, I was already like intending to be there as like just, this was before I was one of the directors, and I was meant to be there just to help set up some of the visual art around the space and
Yes,
make the
that's
space look
right.
pretty. And then a week before the show, Kieran calls me and he's like, I'm in hospital, can you produce the show?
Yeah. Anyway, it
So
was
that
an
was fun.
absolute huge success. Like, honestly, so thrilled with the whole concept. I think, like, in terms of just audience feedback and artist feedback, like, one of the most rewarding, amazing shows that we've done since 2014. We did a sort of COVID-friendly version in 2020, but this is the first time it's back properly in its original home at Newstead, Brewing, Milton. So that's a concept that I'm so thrilled about. But tell me about the artists.
Well, yeah,
wanna tell?
we have a pretty, mixed lineup as usual.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we spread it round. So
I mean, like, I was gonna say, like, so we originally, pre-COVID, last year, we had planned a version of NonStop to be
Yes,
happening in
yeah.
2020, and you know that at some point in time we made the call to postpone the big 2-stage festival, and we've kind of bits and bits managed to carry across. Bits didn't end up working anymore. So I guess the things that did stay and that were actually kind of the cornerstone pieces of the first festival, is that NonStop is always part of our like artist fellowship program, our young artist like education programs.
Yeah.
The performance fellowship and the composition fellowship. So over the course of the last year, I've been working with our first composition fellow, Dots+Loops composition fellow, Oliver Brown, a wonderful composer based down in Melbourne and a video artist and visual artist. And so we had commissioned him to write a new piece of music for
Amazing.
cello and electronics, or cello and like other media.
And we're so
he's-
thrilled. Like, this composer just...
it's wild. And so
Yeah.
the piece that he's come up with, don't title TBC, but it's a wonderful, brilliant, kind of challenging piece involving cello and like a video piece, and the video is both like a fun, engaging, like visual spectacle, but it's also the score for the performer.
Oh, wow.
Like an animated score, and so the performer is basically like sight reading and
Responding in real time.
to this
Oh,
thing. So that's
okay.
brilliant. And then we have, and so that's going to be performed by a local cellist, and that's going to be really fantastic. Currently, it's meant to be the wonderful David Moran.
Oh, awesome.
If we can get him up.
He's still stuck in Melbourne,
Still
and
pending,
we're praying.
borders. Yep.
Boarding is still on the
That's
rest of
how
it.
we put on music at the moment with flexibility.
Yes.
Yes, and of course we also have a performance fellowship program. So we have some great young performance fellows which we'll be announcing soon, and they'll be working with two of our NonStop artists with Expo 88, electronic musician who also is known as Luke Carell. So he'll be working with our performance fellows to produce a set of his music with live instruments, as well as Madeleine Cocolas, who some of you may remember from Reboot.
And you know what? You all know her because you
Oh,
would have
yes.
heard her
Yes,
intro music to this
That's true.
His podcast, yes.
live stream,
She
yeah.
did our lovely intro music, yes.
Yeah,
It's a
so
fan band.
yeah, we really love having that opportunity for our performance fellows to really develop a collaborative work with those
Yeah.
And it
artists
was
in the
with-
lead up to the festival. That's part of the program, as well as participating in a number of other workshops
Yeah, so
and,
they
and
come to-
seminars.
They come to Brisbane and be part of like a residency for a week, and program that Flora's been largely leading, and I and Kieran have been working on. Will be, doing a number of workshops, a couple of other little pop-up performances, and extra things, and it'll be a fun week. So those are kind of like, they're almost at the top and tail. That
Yeah,
performance is
that's
kind of
true.
the top and tail of the festival, and they're the things that we've managed to hold on to.
Another
over
one
the
that
year.
we've held on to that I've been trying to make happen since 2019 is the first showing in Brisbane of Hollows Out of Time by our pal Eric Griswold, who is joined by Camerata, Queensland's Chamber Orchestra. It's such a stunning piece. If you're not aware of Eric's stuff, he works a lot with prepared piano. So this is a set of like short works for prepared piano and string quartet that go through an unimaginable realm of sounds for those 5 instruments, and it's just so fun and diverse. All the sounds are so different, but it all works so well together. And it's been 2 years, and I'm just so excited to actually be making it happen now.
If you want to actually know, if you don't know what a prepared piano is, you can look at one of our videos from Joining the Dots last year, where Eric kind of showed you about what prepared piano is, and he
Just the
actually even
coolest
took you
video.
through some little excerpts from Hollows Out of Time
Yeah.
and what is involved in preparing a piano. So
Yeah.
that's,
We've got Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
that'll be great.
Super fun sort of gypsy jazz group with a amazing lead singer Joanna Davey.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got Shoaib Ahmad, Sia Ahmad, who goes by Shoaib Ahmad in performing. She's a wonderful singer, composer, like ambient prog electronic musician.
And
who's
she's a
doing-
Renaissance woman. She just does it all.
She does, it's guitar, it's like electric guitar, keys, singing, electronics, lushness.
Yeah. And of course, our partners at Creative Nations are going to be returning to present one, possibly even 2 artists in their
First
stage
Nations
takeover.
artists,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. They're our First Nations partner organisation. And those of you who were at Reboot last year, you can look forward to seeing George again. And so stay tuned. So we'll announce those closer to the date as well.
That's the artist. And
Got Avaxa
Yeah.
closing the
Avaxa.
festival with some techno. It will work.
and we got Cameron Bauer doing a solo set from a solo version of his EP Iceberg. Really lush electronic. It's great. I feel like there's more things. There's so many
definitely
things,
more things
on the
yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big program.
Yeah.
There's a lot
I
of things.
saw the list and I can't remember it.
We've got art. We're commissioning an installation from Tim Tate and Zenobia Frost. We were there yesterday looking at how it's going to be incorporated into a space, and I'm already like...
It's super
freaking out.
exciting. And I think all I'll say for now is when I had a chat with Tim yesterday, and he said that one of the points of reference for their artwork was the game Kentucky Route Zero, I got very excited. So those of you who are into niche art games...
I missed that conversation.
Yeah,
That's, okay,
yeah,
great.
get excited.
Yeah.
So if you want to know the rest of the list, it's on the Dots+Loops NonStop event page and also website, and you can go find out
all the rest of it.
Yeah.
who the artists are. But there are so many amazing musicians going to be there. And as an audience member, that when I attended the first NonStop, it is amazing. Music is literally non-stop, and you're enjoying it coming from all ends. However, if you ever catch one of these in that area, they are running around, sweating, and they're just trying to get this concert going. What is running through your minds when you're running this concert? Because you've done it before.
I think last time, I mean, generally the more and more I do this, I've been doing this since 2014 or before, but Dots+Loops since 2014. And now I realize that I'm actually able to prepare properly. So now it's little things. Now it's things that I'm like, this isn't going to make or break the concert, but I'd really like there to be a bit more light here, or I'm just going to check in with these artists or whatever. I mean, so yeah, NonStop 2019 was maybe, our reach was almost exceeding our grasp with some of our most exciting shows. So it was maybe a bit different. It was more like, oh shit, like, like running around like, I need a cable for this thing, and oh my god, like...
it's like calm on the outside, panic on the inside.
Well, I mean, we've all got like, well, two of us have performance degrees. It's like when my GP was like, oh, you never struck me as an anxious type, and I'm like, I'm very good at performing. But no, I'm now I feel so much calmer now that I know how to prepare them properly, and I have a team of people to help me prepare them properly. So it's more just making sure that the experience for the audience and the artist is as tip-top as it can possibly be, and seeing all the things within that to make sure that that happens, that the audience is just not even seeing the cogs behind the machine, and that the artists are just able to do what they do, which is perform with nothing getting in the way.
It really is like that. Like I can't tell until I come and go, hey, and I go, oh, okay, you do you. But what about you two now that you've joined the team? Like,
when I think back to the last NonStop, I was running around a little bit, particularly early on, because I did play in 2 of the sets.
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing that is tricky, you know, balancing.
We all played in sets for that show.
We did, performing as well as producing, and I think more and more we're quite conservative in that regard now, and we step away from, we try not to wear too many hats at once.
Or that if one of us is performing, the other
somebody
two
else is
are
covering
dedicated to producing.
So that'll definitely make things run a lot more smoothly, and I think we'll all be a lot calmer. But having said that, last time it was just so exciting.
It was so exciting, and if you see me running around, like, also it's my element, it's what I live for. And I think the hardest thing about COVID, it's been hard for everyone, and Mrs. all like, oh, that's a sad story, is that the organization the last 2 years is for these events. When I'm there, that's like my flow state. That's I'm so excited to be sharing this music I'm so passionate about with like beautiful audience members, hearing what they hated, hearing what they loved, like making sure that they're having an amazing experience regardless. That's what I live for.
Totally. Yeah, it's those little moments in between running around where you stop and you're at the back of the, you know, audience, and you see people just watching and transfixed, or they're like dancing, or, you know, like that's what makes it.
I think for me, like, once not when the doors open, I'm usually running around until
once the first set starts.
Yeah, it's the first set.
Once we're 10 minutes into the first set and I haven't had to like climb into a roof cavity to fix wiring or do something stupid like that, like has happened at past shows. Once we're like 10 minutes in, we're great. We're fine. The only thing I'm thinking from then on is, oh, we were meant to finish that set 10 minutes ago. Okay. I hope the bump out at the end, we're not going to hit like the midnight deadline when we all have to whatever it is. But
because we all tend into Dots+Loops at midnight.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, the pumpkins again. Yeah.
I was going to go with pumpkins, and then I went with Dots+Loops, and then I don't know if the joke landed. Did the joke land? You can let us know in the comments below. But let's keep moving on.
But I also find that not only are you running this show so well, by the way, you also, like you said, check in with the musicians. And because I've performed with you guys before and I am taken care of. And you also check in with the audience. You go, is it going good? How do you like it? And you're constantly doing that the entire time. And it's not just like a concert. It's more like a family gathering. Like this hangout.
That's what we aim for, because, you know, when Dots+Loops started, it was pretty small. It was something Kieran did as part of his masters, and he was programming concerts that incorporated the stuff that he was working on. And it's really grown from there, and it's grown really organically as a little community of people who are interested in the kinds of things.
But even when I started it was about community. It was about the people around me helping out, the people I was friends with. I was programming it with them in mind, like being a combination of, here's music I'm passionate about, but I think you will also be really passionate about. But then, like, it's always got to be a conversation as well. And I really view our conversation as concerts and my curation as a conversation, because I really honestly care what the audience thinks. And I'm here as I think about it like when I'm DJing. If I play only what people like, only the hits, like, people will say I'm a sellout. If I play only like deep cuts that I think are like, oh, this is so cool, the floor clears. Ideally, it's a middle ground. And so I'm there to sort of introduce people to things that I think they'll like, but also give people what I think they're expecting as well.
Yeah, and it's such a huge audience. It really, like, when every year where I go, oh, here's someone new, or I've never seen this person. Oh, I've seen that person every year, and it's so interesting from people in different areas coming all the way to this one spot and enjoying this music together. I think it's so lovely that you guys are making that platform, that space for us to enjoy live music too.
Thanks, Anna.
Now, on top of NonStop, you guys run this podcast as well, and you do many other things like the fellowship. What else have you been working on?
Too much.
Your own lives.
And we all tried doing a life as a freelancer, yeah. So, like, the festival is kind of like the big event of the year.
Yeah.
That kind of, like, the year leads towards. But we try to do a couple of other events each year.
So this year, we had our Restrung set. We did a little live stream concert as part of UQ's art museum series as
In
well.
March, we had Vibrations,
Yeah.
where it was like a big, amazing, weird, fun party.
We were so lucky too.
And I think I loved that one because I think it was the first concert that we curated as a team. And
Was
I think
that
it
the percussion heavy one?
Yeah.
That's why I liked it.
And Connor nailed the set design.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
It was very much like
Loved it.
equally all three of us from the inception, and it really just went to show for me that, like, this team is it. We really are greater than the sum of our own parts.
Yeah, so, like, there's the festival, which is, I guess, like, the goal in programming it is to have a little bit of everything, like a very varied variety, and, like, well, we're trying to make the energy of the evening make sense, but maybe not so much thinking this piece of music to this piece of music to this piece of music. Whereas, like, our kind of other main events are kind of, we'll curate 2 or 3 sets that are kind of around an idea or a
there's a
concept,
theme or a concept.
and use that as the medium to, like, whether that's like a non-musical thing, like a story or a concept or an idea, or whether it's like these all kind of stem from the same kind of musical roots. But use those kind of things as an idea, as in a way to connect, like, really different kind of genres or styles of bands. And, like, as a complete example of a thing that we haven't done, but, like, something, it could be like here's this really heavy, intense minimalist piece that, like, has these quite intense kind of drum beat and electric guitar amongst other things, and then here's a heavy metal group, and that connects the dots between and that by putting the two next together, we might hopefully get the people who like listening to contemporary classical minimalism to listen to heavy metal
and sort of see the similarities, and that they can get something from that.
And vice versa. And so that's kind of the goal, I guess, with some of those events.
And so, we've been working on next year's season. We've been working on,
year
further
after.
ahead. And
Wow.
look, these grant funding rounds, you got to plan quite
True,
far ahead.
that's
Really, all we've been doing is applying for grants.
Yeah, that is a lot of what we do.
It's
It's like 3/4 of the work.
if you want to throw us a few $100,000, we will give you more concerts.
You rich people out there, you listening? Well, you guys also do the like you were saying, the decorating of the concerts as well.
I would say that's one of the biggest things that Connor brings is that sometimes I think my concepts are very much so like the music and very sometimes it will have been a bit about the set, especially with
well, if there's AV
what was the
involved.
TV one?
Oh, feedback.
Oh, yeah, for
that was the
feedback.
first one that Connor actually worked on, because I was like, I have this idea and have no idea how to do it. And then, talking about getting in the roof and like,
Wiring.
banging on like wiring shit while the audience is coming in. That was that show. But
Yeah.
anyway, Connor has the most phenomenal ideas for sets, and often it only happens like on the day, and it'll be like, oh no, we'll do this and that and whatever, and it's just like the most incredible space transformation. So
Yes.
again, that we all bring different things. I think often I'm very excited about the overall concept and how it all looks overall. And then Connor will go into like specific detail in the most incredible way.
I don't know if you guys were watching our credit card transactions you two, not you. I'm assuming you're not. We're watching our credit card transactions last night, but I did spend a large amount of money on eBay last night for NonStop for set design things.
So, just to give you a little teaser, Connor spent about $150 on, if you know crisp packets, when you open a crisp packet and you look inside and it's got that silvery bit.
Oh.
He spent about $150 on sheets of that. So we'll
like
leave
100
that to you.
meters of 100 meters of the material that chip packets are made out
I
of.
wonder what he's doing with that.
Oh, well, it's a huge impact to when the moment you walk in. Because if no one has been to Newstead Brewing Co, it's just the top part is just cement and a window. It's like it's just grey. But the moment you guys put in all those little bits and pieces, like it's a whole new world. And every time you go to a new concert, it's a new like vibe, and you're kind of thinking you're in this different world, in this different universe.
And that's what
Like
we
your
want.
own Marvel universe kind of thing.
Is there an MCU? Is there like a link?
There's a D
is there
plus L.
Yeah, DL.
Yeah. Is there a meta connection
Dots
across
and
the?
Loops concert universe.
Yeah. Clothes hangers to the jungle area, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess like I love the idea of we've been more and more wanting to expand Dots and Loops. But we are a concert series in music first and
And I mean,
foremost.
we're all
but
trained
we wanna
musicians.
Always be,
Yeah.
and we're trained.
So we
classical
think about the
musicians,
music first, but we think that the space that you experience the performances in affects the way you experience it. So
Yeah.
if we can enhance the audience's experience
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
those,
and in
those
doing so,
artists-
also connect with video artists and visual artists.
That's right.
And
That's
set-
part of our
Yes,
whole
yes.
post-genre thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like you are like the very few, like if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but in very few in Queensland that like are doing it. Just the three of you are just running this entire thing. Obviously, there are beautiful concerts out there, but they're run by huge companies and huge production teams, and there's only three of you running this whole thing, and including marketing. Am I right as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally.
Most of it, yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, we have lots of friends and lots of colleagues and
Yeah.
partners
I mean,
that we
for
work with.
example, we all learned how to live stream today thanks to our gorgeous friend Todd Reynolds. But yeah, we were a little late because we were learning how to live stream. So I hope I did good, Mum.
You can go watch that episode of Joining the Dots
Yes.
with Todd Reynolds in
It is a
series
very
1 of
informative
Joining the
episode.
Dots.
He really helped.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go back to Jerry. Is there any questions from... No questions? That's right. We're just so good at answering everyone's questions. We're so psychic. Well, then I just wanted to end with... so Kieran was saying like that moment that you knew this was a team. What moment was that for you two?
I mean,
That aha moment.
like going back, like, the three of us know each other from studying together. Like, when I was in my undergrad, Flora was in her master's,
Yeah.
and Kieran I've known from both undergrad and masters. And
Connor ran his own concert series,
That's
which
right.
both of us
Yeah.
Exactly.
performed.
I ran my own concert series Argo. You ran your concert series Hidden Dome. You were running Dots and Loops. I've been at all but like 2 Dots and Loops series, and we'd all kind of been involved in all of each other's things, and we were all kind of circling around the same ideas and just approaching them in different ways. And so, especially when I kind of moved back to Australia in 2019 and was working on those 2 concerts like as just a freelance joint, you needed help with some things, it kind of just made sense that it just happened.
Yeah.
And especially
So it's
after
like
the
a
last...
gradual... Like,
Yeah, well, like I came on and I was just doing the making TVs work for feedback and then crawling in the roof and wiring
more
things.
than that, but yeah.
Yeah, basically. And then the second one, like I was producing and like doing some visual things, and you were co-producing and co-curating it. And then kind of after that one, we were just debriefing, I think. And Kieran asked me like, "Hey, do you want to like be on the team to do video stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, but why don't I just like do the thing with you, because it makes sense, and we
Yeah.
can just all yeah."
That's right. Yeah, I don't know if there was like a specific moment. I think it all felt very, organic.
I often ask myself this as well. I'm like, when did Flora come into my life? You're just the most beautiful, like, sort of...
You know, I remember chatting to you on the bus to QIS.
No.
Yeah.
Or in like high school.
No,
like-
I think we were already at uni by then.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So that could have been when we first had a
10
conversation.
years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I would answer that question. I was wanting to hear what they would hear, but it's because they have generously agreed when I asked them to come and make this family of one a family of three, and they generously
no.
agreed to come and work with me.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a family, and the trust and respect for each other is definitely shown in all your concerts. And I can't wait till NonStop in December. Get your tickets now, because you first and first serve, and it is literally NonStop of the list of incredible guests. I will now give it to you guys to end this podcast with the exits.
Yeah, we've got a few thank yous. Firstly to Simply for Strings, of course, for hosting us in this beautiful space. Thank you to Anna for
Thank you for having me.
presenting today's episode. We don't often have guest presenters, so it's always really
On
fun.
the audio podcast.
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure. And also to Joe for being our live
Joseph
stream operator.
McCormack over here, who came in very last minute. We're very lucky. If you need an audio engineer, I can highly recommend him.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, this episode and almost all of all episodes of Joining the Dots for this season is made possible with the support of our funding partners. We have Arts Queensland, the Australian Cultural Fund, and Simply for Strings, and also our patrons.
Yeah, a lot of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to Madeleine Cocolas, who created the beautiful theme music at the beginning, and to Chris Perren, who did all the graphic design wizardry, all of the graphics and fun things for both this episode and all the episodes of the season. If you'd like to stay in the loop about all the episodes of Joining the Dots that we have coming up, we have 9 more podcast episodes that'll be coming out approximately once every 2 or 3 weeks, and 10 video tutorials taking you through with a guest artist on a different topic, some hands-on thing that you can learn without any other experience, and hopefully for very, very cheap. You can like and subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts, and to the videos on our YouTube page. Also sign up to our newsletter and you'll hear about everything, including our concerts there.
Yeah, great.
So until next time, thank you for joining us and joining the Dots. And make sure that you go and check out our earlier stuff from season 1. It is full of gold. And we can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you.